It's been exactly 1 year since Quentin finished his Nickelodeon project, and it's also been exactly 7 years since Dan was fired. It's been only 7 years, I can't believe it. It's all due to the Me Too movement and decline of cable TV that they finally just gave up on him. They should have just fired him when they knew it was all wrong for his emotional abuse and mental abuse for all of his crew. But I have to say, the whole Hollywood system is so toxic. The industry is filled with awful people. I mean, Quentin allude to this all along, thanks to Disney's competition with their overworking their child stars to become singers. It was, I mean, when Miley posted that schedule, it was outstanding. They made her work 15 hours as a 14-year-old. Oh my god. And then don't forget that Nickelodeon wasn't exclusive to all the problematic things happening with actors. I mean, Disney had like Mitchell Mooser get arrested for DUI and stealing chips. Then there was Adam Hicks with that his own DUI, and then Kyle Massey with his inappropriate relationship with that teen girl. Oh my god. And and of course the singers were being sexualized to appeal to the more people, and that goes to and it's been common throughout all of Hollywood. And again, Quinn allude to this by saying Nickelodeon didn't invent this. And of course, there were other bad crew members involved, like Jason Handy, Brian Peck, and incidentally, I watched that Drake and Josh podcast about all that, and Drake admits that he's tried to stay quiet as much as possible for Josh until last year because he wanted to protect their show. So Josh wasn't in the court hearing when 41 people tried to support Brian, and then basically it was such a traumatic event, but he was very broad to Josh because he wanted this for them. And eventually, cycle of abuse happened with Drake with that 15-year-old, and that really made me upset. And Josh stayed silent for so long until they finally had to break it with all the criticism. And yeah, it really isn't that fun. And of course, Winston was like, "Is it wrong to enjoy these shows?" Well, in his opinions, there were other problematic creators like Chris Savino with the Loud House. Like, they kept that show running along because it was so critically and commercially successful despite what happened. And it's very it's really hard to watch that show because of that. And not to mention John Kay and Bill Cosby, those shows have got to go. They need to be disowned for how awful they were. And I still can't believe they overturned Bill Cosby because they mistakenly violated his right of silence. Ugh. And he and Winter was right. The weirdness in pop culture is prevalent. Cognitive dissonance is everywhere because we want to stay connected to these materials because they're the kind of things that helped us be who we wanted to be. It helps shape our persona, humor, and find the right kinds of people. But when you look at this as an adult, all taking off the rose-colored glasses, it wasn't. Not only is it not as innocent as you want it to be, but it shows that it's not really going to last through your adulthood and you need to change. In fact, I really like that Quentin was not wearing his glasses when he did the final segments of his series because it showed he was taking things seriously. It was a symbolism of taking out the rose-colored glasses, and I really like that subtle hint. And his nuanced delivery was great. And I understand, man, the I don't want to get sued thing, because while this stuff is very critical, we have to treat it politely without it going into the realm of hate speech. We can say how it's bad, but we can't be overly angry and exaggerative with it. So he did a great job analyzing the stuff. And the reason that some of these people will still want to be in the shows is because the actors, they're the reasons that they are the correct people that brought the characters like Yvette for Helen, Spencer for Jerry, and all the other people, despite what their origins were. So they should have the right to claim the shows as their own and do whatever they want with it. They should have the shows. And when Quentin made the broad statement, were all the hardships worth it for these kids just so you could be entertained? And the answer to that is a simple no. Hollywood should just let the actors be themselves and give them just a constructive criticism direction to make these things work. Because otherwise, it's all about quantity over quality, and that really sucks because they're just trying to milk every penny out of their cash cows, and that really, really is pathetic. They don't care for creative people, which is what a studio industry is supposed to do. It's supposed to be full of creativity and passion, but it's anything but that. I mean, Disney made that stupid Snow White remake, and it's all woke. There's feuds on set. It's really, really awful how Disney doesn't respect their material anymore, and Bart was right about it being an evil corporation. And looking back on the actors speaking out, I'm glad that they are being honest about how these shows really shaped them, because we really need to get away. We want to get there. We want to get our true passions out. We have to do what we need to do. Have to do passions, and like, I still love Jeanette's book because she is an eloquent She is an eloquent writer. She is talented in her diction and the pacing. It's great with her emotions and connection of character. And I am so glad that she immediately rejected the hush money, not only because she wouldn't have been able to make the book, because she knew that children deserve protection. They deserve to have their autonomy within them. Children need to grow. They deserve the rightful mind. And seriously, the system has been awful since well before Dan's birth. I mean, look at what happened with Judy Garland and her similarities to Jeanette's story. She had an abusive mother. She was forced into acting against her will, especially with an uncomfortable diet to keep her figure and thus get more roles, even for those that she was too old for. And she was abused by a producer/director for all this time just to get their money's worth. So yeah, it shows that Hollywood has been corrupt for so many years, and it's really, really awful. And there was even a comment on Quentin's latest video about that. They were like, about the Fall Guy situation. Dan Schneider was the one who forced Judy Garland on the diet. Dan Schneider was the one who forced Judy Garland on the diet. Dan Schneider was the one who forced Shirley Temple to dance on broken legs. Dan Schneider was the one who fired Bobby Driscoll because he wasn't the right model for their company anymore. So yeah, it shows Hollywood has been toxic so many years, and it really, really sucks. And I'm so glad Miranda was a catalyst for helping her make the book, because it showed that despite the competition that might seem to them, she really liked Jeanette. She knew things were tough and she just wanted to be your friend. I mean, Miranda's parents were pretty much the antithesis of Jeanette's. Miranda's parents were supportive of each other. They let their daughter communicate, and they were willing to let her live the life that she wanted. I mean, after iCarly, she used all her money to pay for college, and she had a nice time there at USC. Jeanette, though, I feel awful for all the stuff that her family put her through. Just her mom, though, and her, I can't really say stepfather because of, yeah, you should read the book. But I am so glad that she's able to reclaim her life, and then she's helping so many other people like me with their mental health and family problems and personal issues, because she wants to be herself, she wants to show her talent, and she wants to make friends that way. She made much better friends now than she would have made 20 years ago, because we now are facing these problems that we never really thought of. I mean, BoJack has this very similar concept with, like, a child being forced into acting their abusive mother with a deadbeat father, and then the toxicity of Hollywood really rules over. But Raphael, whether he worked in Hollywood or not, knows this stuff all too well because he was very eloquent in all the negative stuff, and putting it all together really enhanced why Hollywood really is toxic. It's just trying to abuse and manipulate actors to do whatever it takes to get all their money's worth. It is pathetic. Now, I really hope Quentin does stuff outside of Nickelodeon now, because I really like his other projects, like that McDonald's video where he was experimenting with themed McDonald's and seeing how valuable they were. It was so cool seeing restaurants that I would have taken for granted, especially their designs, and they really had passion and fun into it, which is what all the industry should be. But then its own executives ruined the stuff by just putting into bland restaurants and removing all the kids' menus and raising all the prices, so each burger is now $3 rather than 89 cents, and that really rubs me the wrong way. But I'm glad Quentin made that stuff, because it showed we're adults now, we're going to have to really let things go. And to be honest, it's kind of easy now, because as an adult you really know what's going to truly matter to you and how you're going to go about your life, and it's going to really pay off. I really hope Hollywood's going to change. It's going to treat its workers right. It's going to take care of these people and let them be creative. And not to mention, we need people who are able to understand these problems, recognize them immediately so that they won't be happening again. So I really wish you guys farewell on your creativity, because I don't want you to be abused by any means. We got to do what we have to do. Taking off the rose-colored glasses is hard, but being an adult is really going to help us get through our troubles. I really appreciate you listening to this. Fuck Hollywood.